Hello everybody, and welcome to another Vintage Cube video. Unfortunately, I actually missed the start of this one, so we first picked a Mana Flare, which we're just not going to play. I don't really know what we missed, but I am sorry about that. We're just going to treat it like this is the first pack, and take Izzet Signet. That's a pretty generically good card. Yeah, it just fits in a lot of different decks. And now, Mana Drain and Fractured Identity. Both really good cards. I think I can't pass a Fractured Identity, though. Mana Drain is cheaper, but this is card advantage. It's such good interaction. Yeah, I think we got to take this card. Okay, now we get a Mana Leak. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, we'll take that. Despite the fact that we missed our first pick, this deck is looking pretty strong. What do we want here? We could take Selesnya Signet. We could take Treasure Cruise. We could take the Zealous Conscripts, but we just passed Kiki Jiki. I think we'll just take another Signet. Yeah, that seems fine. Just being able to make a lot of mana. There's like a 1% chance we play this Mana Flare, but super unlikely. Why is this the auto pick, too? They should just make it so that it automatically picks a blue card if you're not there. Alright, pretty good pack here. We will take a Spell Pierce. That's good interaction. I like Dragon's Rage Channeler, and I like Nahiri. So hopefully one of those two comes around, but Spell Pierce is pretty excellent. We could be an Omnath deck. We don't have much fixing, but our Signets do make Omnath colors together. And we want to be blue-white already, so that's a consideration. Could still be blue-white control. There's a miscalculation. That's pretty sweet. Elesh Norn is decent, but not really a card I want to... Yeah, I mean, pretty easy miscalculate. This is a sideboard card. This is an excellent main deck card. One thing to note is that we have 3 counterspells, but they're all conditional. So that means we won't be quite as good in the late game, potentially. Alright, what do we want here? Riftwind Cloudskate's okay, but I think I'm going to take the Selesnya Signet. I mean, the Everflowing Chalice. Yeah, let's go with that. A lot of artifact mana, that's pretty good. Now we can take something like Balance very highly. Okay, I think this was our first pack. We get a Gideon Jura out of it. None of this stuff is incredible, but Gideon's solid. Elspeth is good in some decks, but it's best when this +1 is good. If you have creatures that you want to be giving flying, equipment, stuff like that. That's not really looking like what we'll be doing here. There was a Colonnade that we picked over Izzet Signet early on. And I don't think Colonnade's likely to wheel, but I'll be very happy if it does. Wow, alright. It did come around. That's awesome. We'll take a Colonnade very happily, so... I was upset about missing the first pick, but given how well this has developed since then, I'm feeling pretty good. One thing we don't have yet is card draw, so Ancestral Recall would obviously be amazing. Any of the blue Planeswalkers that draw cards, like Jace or Narset, would be good. It would also be good if we got a Board Sweeper, but definitely a good start. Alright, Council's Judgment, pretty solid removal spell. If we knew we were going to be doing Omnath things, we would take the Inspiring Vantage, but we're not there yet. Let's just take the very flexible and powerful card. Alright, Armageddon is kind of cute because we have all this artifact mana, but I still think that's just not great. We could speculate on Oath of Druids, since we have no creatures right now, or we could take Lion Sash, which is Graveyard Hate. But I think we're fine against Graveyard decks with all the counter magic, so I actually will just go with a speculative Oath of Druids, and now we can take Hullbreaker Horror, Knight of Benalia, and Shallow Grave. Okay, so blue-eye control, could be playing green, but yeah, really good start. We have good interaction, some acceleration. We'll see what Pack 2 brings. Well, remember when I said we liked some card draw? We got Ancestral Recall. That's probably the best possible card we could have opened here. I think it's better than Sol Ring and better than Black Lotus. Yeah, we'll very happily take this. Prismatic Vista would be good. Expressive Iteration could be good. Both of these white cards are fine. Karn actually could be good here, but super easy Ancestral Recall. Very, very good pickup. It pairs well with cheap counter magic. It pairs well with artifact mana. Just exactly what this deck was looking for. Alright, now we have Memory Deluge versus Preordain. Close pick. I think I'm going to take the Deluge here, though, with all the artifact mana. Preordain is a more powerful card, or at least it's... There's a lot of decks where it's much better. It's cheap, it gives you a lot of consistency, and these things are good, but I think this deck wants some sort of power card draw, ways to generate actual card advantage, and Memory Deluge does that much better. Close pick, though. I would not fault someone for taking Preordain. Alright, what do we have here? Probably Wall of Omens. There's Zaitor's Proving Ground, but that doesn't help us yet. Tamios, likewise, doesn't help us. We're not a Thalia deck. Mox Diamond is fine, but let's just take the wall. It's a great blocker. Now I get a Windswept Heath. That's pretty nice. Ephemerate doesn't do anything. It could do something later. We could take one of these if we want to really go in on the Oath thing, but let's just take the fixing. It doesn't help us yet, for blue at least, but we're hoping to pick up a blue-white fetchable land, and it could potentially help us with the Oath of Druids out of the board. This pack is a bit of a brick. Damnation would be good if we could play it, but we can't. We're not really there for Emry. Seagate Stormcaller is good with Ancestral Recall, but pretty narrow. This isn't a Student of Warfare deck. Firebolt would be good if we have the mana for it, but that's not super likely at the moment. Could take Bayou. I guess I'll just take the Bayou. It's not thrilling, but Windswept Heath can get it. There's a world where we want to play black, even if it's just for Lingering Souls. And I don't think any of these other cards are going to make the cut. If we took Preordain and we opened Time Walk later, maybe this could get there, but let's just take the Bayou. Okay. Well, there's some good black stuff here if we want to play black, but I think we just take the Mystical Tutor. You can find Ancestral with this, which is pretty solid. We can also find Fractured Identity, and I think between the two of those, that is enough. Not the best pack for us here. There's no blue cards, and the only white cards are either not good in this deck or pretty niche. We could take Iona if we want to try and do Oath things. I don't think it makes sense to speculate on something like Kolaghan's Command in our blue-white deck. Could take Ashen Rider. Could just take another Signet. I'll take another Signet. Iona's fine. It's good in some matchups, but I'd rather just have more acceleration. Alright, pretty easy dam here. This is amazing. We have no board sweepers yet, so picking up the first one's really good. This actually is looking like we might play Oath. I guess we'd have to cut the Wall of Omens, but we'll see. If we don't get any more top end, I won't. But if we got like a couple more good 6+ mana creatures, then we could do that. I think I like Elspeth a bit better than Karn here. It's close, but Elspeth being 1 mana cheaper and also impacting the board more is pretty good. Yeah, we'll take this. Now we get Thraben Inspector. Okay, that's pulling us away from the Oath, but it is a good card. Alright, this has been a good pack for the deck. The things I want now are a little bit more fixing, specifically a blue source that Windswept Heath can fetch. And then a few more win conditions, ideally Planeswalkers, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Gideon Ally of Zendikar, stuff like that. Not too much for us here. I think I'll take the Tamiyo speculatively. We don't have great access to green mana right now, but we might end up playing that. Now we could take Ephemerate. I don't think either of these cards are good for us, so we'll speculate on the Ephemerate. It's definitely not there yet, but we do have Thraben Inspector and Wall of Omens. And if we got a few more good ETB effects, it could make the cut. Alright, we'll take a Field of the Dead and not play it, barring some weird... Actually, I guess we're closer to Emry. Like, maybe if we get Black Lotus, we would take Emry. There's a Sphinx. That's a good Oath of Druids target against aggressive decks. And then not expecting... Oh, we even get a last pick card that actually will come in some matchups. That's kind of sweet. Alright, pack 3. What are we looking for? Fixing. Planeswalkers. Mostly just those two things. Well then, that is a time walk and a time warp actually. Funnily enough, there's also some fetches that could help us. Shark Typhoon, a lot of good cards, but easy time walk, of course. That's one of the best cards in the format. Having both time walk and ancestral recall in the same deck is incredible. Who knows what we missed in the first pack? It'd be hilarious if it was like a Black Lotus. But yeah, I mean that's a great pickup. This deck is looking very strong. Okay, we'll take a counterspell here. Wrath of God would be solid. Actually, Karn would be really good too. Actually, is Karn good enough to take? We have 4 mana rocks, so we have a lot of ways to play it on turn 3. We have 3 counterspells already. But is counterspell just like unpassable? Maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna take the counterspell. It's really close, but Karn is strong. I still think this is the right pick, though. If we get no more top end, then I'll regret that. But yeah, here we get the Wandering Emperor. If you watch this channel for long, you know how much I love Palace Jailer, but this isn't really a good Palace Jailer deck. We just don't have that many creatures, and so if they become the Monarch, we have essentially no way to win it back, which is pretty bad. If it wheeled, like maybe I would take it, but the thing is, it's Palace Jailer versus a really good card. So we'll take the Wandering Emperor. This is removal. It's a Planeswalker. It's a win condition. It's a 4 mana Planeswalker that we can play on turn 3. Really just does everything we want. Okay, there's our Rogran Triome. That's sweet. It's just a blue-white dual land. The red is unlikely to matter. So we'll take that. Jace is solid. Actually, Jace is really good with Time Walk and Ancestral. And there's also Phantasmal Image. But I still think we just gotta take this. Our fixing is pretty bad. And we have tons of playables, so we'll take this. And now we get a Narset. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, pretty easy Narset. We have a really high spell count, so this will hit almost every time. Recruiter of the Guard is pretty bad for this deck. Dig Through Time could be fine, but let's just take the Narset. Alright, pretty great late pickup in Remand. We now have 5 cheap counterspells, which is a great place to be. I think we're not playing Tamiyo at this point. We have a couple green signets, but not much. And then we can cut Golgari Signet. Well, there's the Omnath, which we were talking about doing earlier. But I think at this point, that ship has sailed, unfortunately. I love Omnath, but that's just not the deck we're playing right now. We're playing a deck that's going to take Geist and play it in the sideboard. There's also Griselbrand for the Oath, but we're not doing Oath either. I think. Yeah, we'll take the Geist. This is really, really good against control decks and combo decks where we want a quick clock. I don't think I'm going to play it in the main deck, but it's a great card to have access to. And now, Mana Tithe and Ponder. I think we're taking the Ponder since we are, like, we have a lot of cards like Mana Tithe already. I do love the Tithe, but I think Ponder is just going to be too good here. Okay, we could take a Time Warp, which is pretty good. We could also take Murktide Regent. But we have so many Planeswalkers that I think Time Warp is where we want to be. Although, with that being said, Murktide Regent's going to come down really quick and be really big pretty much every game. Yeah, actually, let's take the Murktide. We're a bit light on win conditions. I think this is better than Hullbreaker Horror in the main deck. Oh my gosh, Karn came around. So did Elspeth, but I think Karn is better here. You want to have a bunch of 3-drops for Elspeth, and we don't. So we'll take the Karn. That's a great pickup. Yorion. Ancestral Vision. I think we're playing that. Wow, this deck really got there. What are we cutting? I think we can cut the Murktide here, actually, because we got the Karn. That's enough win conditions already. So we'll play all these Planeswalkers. Wall of Omens and Thraben Inspector are good as blockers. Definitely want all the counter magic. I think we want these mana rocks. We could play 16 lands in this. Or we could cut 1 card for the 17th land. We have Ancestral Recall and Ponder to help find land. Yeah, I think we could either play 16 lands and 3 rocks or 17 lands and 2 rocks. And I do like the mana rocks here. So I think I'm going to... Well, I guess we could maybe cut the ever-flowing Chalice. But with so many 4s and 5s, it seems good. So, let's see. This gives us 10 blue sources and 9 white sources, not counting signets. I think that seems fine. We actually have a pretty low curve, too, so 16 lands should help to insulate us against flood. Okay, this deck seems sweet. We have a lot of Planeswalkers, a lot of counter magic, and some broken cards. That is a recipe for success. See you in round 1. Alright, we have our round 1 opponent. We're playing some blue-white control, and we're hoping to draw Ancestral into Time Walk every single game. Looks like we did not win the die roll, unfortunately. But we have a good hand. We can keep this on the draw. Playing against blue. Probe for mana. Okay, that's fine. They'll know about the Wandering Emperor now, but I don't care too much about that. Narset was not really what we were looking for. We need to find some lands, but we have a few more draws before it's too much of a problem. Okay, that was a good draw. Let's play Izzet Signet and pass, and then next turn we can go Ancestral into Mana Leak. Monastery Mentor. Okay, that's fine. Oh, Black Lotus is not fine. What? That's cheating. Do they have another play this turn? No, they don't. Okay. So we draw the land. So let's start with the Ancestral. We have a board sweeper that we could dig towards. Oh, that's good too. So we'll play land. I think I'm just gonna play Signet this turn. Well, we could also play Narset. But no, let's develop the mana. No Mana Leak available this turn. But next turn we can play Fractured Identity. If they want to counter our Signet, that's totally fine. So we have a very stacked hand here. Oh, they play Tidehauler Sculler. It's fine. We have tons of, we have 4 Planeswalkers in our hand here. They could take, if they have a couple counter spells, they could take Mana Leak and then just try and line up their counters with our sorcery speed threats. But if they take anything other than Mana Leak here, I think we're going to win. Like, what are they going to do? If we have Mana Leak plus Wandering Emperor, they can't attack with a Swift Spear, or with a Mentor. And then they have no pressure. And we can win pretty quickly from there. If they do take the Mana Leak, we need to decide how to proceed. One option is to just jam Elspeth. We can't double spell here. So we could go Elspeth this turn, and then next turn potentially Narset plus Wandering Emperor. Really is a stacked hand. Okay, they take the Fractured Identity. That seems fine. They play a Mishra's Factory. Don't care about that. Umezawa's Jitte. Okay, don't really care about that either. Jitte is decent against the Elspeth, but it doesn't speed up the clock that much. They can use the Lotus to equip the Jitte if they want, but that's a pretty terrible use of a Black Lotus, especially against control. Alright, looks like they are just doing this. And they attack the Mentor. Sure. So, a few options here. One is just to take out the Wandering Emperor now. And honestly, I think that is probably the correct line. It's not the most exciting play per se, but I just don't want them to keep creating bodies. They're going to get to kill our Wandering Emperor, but this buys us some solid time, takes away their primary source of pressure, and then next turn we can play Gideon with Mana Leak up. Elspeth doesn't line up too well here because they can just GT down 2 of the blockers, and get in a nice attack. Okay, they animate the Mishra's Factory. They can hit us for a decent chunk of damage here. Hopefully we can find some removal soon. We're down to 12. Are we dead on board next turn? This can swing for 9, 10, 11, 12. So they can actually kill us if we don't do anything. Miscalculation, not a good draw. So I think we just played Gideon this turn and plus. Or do we want to minus and kill the Tidehollow Sculler? They can hit for 9, 10, 11. They actually, no, that does still give them lethal. Okay, so we'll plus, pass, and then presumably cycle Miscalc end of turn. Alright, so our Gideon is certainly going to die here. This Jitte is actually a huge problem. That's the main pressure here. That represents essentially 10 damage. I don't know what they're doing here. They don't have a choice. They have to send everything at Gideon. So Gideon dies. The Jitte gets its counters. We will cycle this. Council Judgment. Okay, that's what we were looking for. So let's start with the Council Judgment. They can gain a bunch of life with the Jitte if they want to. We're still probably going to be hitting that one. And then they won't have that much pressure, so I think we can take a turn off of holding up counter magic to just play Narset. Yeah, still voting for the Jitte. It's possible that they could kill us from this position, but pretty unlikely. Okay, we find the board sweeper, so this is their turn. They have to do something this turn. If we can go Dam plus hold up counterspell next turn, there's no way they can come back from that. Five mana. What's this? Batterskull? Okay. That's a weird play. That doesn't really do it. I mean, they can hit us for a lot of damage, and then potentially try and set up, kill animating Mishra's Factory, equipping Batterskull, and killing us that way. But this is looking good for us. Ponder, okay. Do we have enough mana for Ponder plus the other things? Yes, we do. Yeah, so we'll Ponder. Kind of want to find land here. Okay, Colonnade's good. Yeah, we'll keep these. Get the Colonnade into play. And then we will overload Dam and pass the turn. So we're still at a fairly healthy life total, and our hand is completely stacked. They don't really have any pressure. It's hard for us to interact with the factory, but we can just play Elspeth and then block forever. Okay, if their whole turn is just hitting us for 2, that's really not going to get the job done. I guess we'll play around Wasteland, get our Planeswalker out there, plus to make 3 tokens. And now the game is officially over. We have 2 counterspells. We have a threat in play that will win. We have Fractured Identity in case something somehow slips through the cracks. So they're playing like Esper mid-range / beatdown. Should be a pretty good matchup. Alright, we'll counter this. They just pass. We don't have any more. I guess we have Remand in the deck still. I think I'm still going to start with just playing Wall of Omens, though. I don't need to Mystical Tutor for... Well, actually, there's no reason not to. I think I will Mystical Tutor for the Remand. Oh, there's also Time Walk. Yeah, that seems a little bit better. So +1. Time Walk. Pass. +1. I think I'm just going to animate and hit in the air. We'll just swing with everything. So you can animate the factory, block one of these dudes, take 9. And then I don't think there's any way they can win from this position. They would need something like Upheaval, but they just played land, so they don't have Upheaval. Fair enough. That's kind of hilarious. I think we just fire off a Mana Leak because there's no reason not to. But that kills all of our creatures. We choose 6 land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We lose all of our creatures. And then they can animate the factory and hit us. Balance is solid, but still, this is a very, very good position. I think I'm going to Fractured Identity their Batterskull now. And hold up Remand. This looks like something we're going to Remand. Yeah. That's actually a card that could potentially get them back into this in a very long game, but I don't think they're going to have time. Yep, and they conceded that. Okay, so they're playing Esper. They have semi-aggressive creatures. They're playing Balance, weirdly. They do have Black Lotus and Mox Emerald, so they can get off to some fast starts. But it seems like it should be a good matchup. Do we want Murktide Regent here? We haven't seen that much stuff that's effective against it. Well, is there anything in the main deck that we don't want? Not really. I kind of like the look of everything here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to run it back like this. Could cut Ancestral Vision. Actually, yeah, I'll cut the Ancestral Vision for a Murktide Regent, and we'll submit like this. If we see multiple things like Oust, Teferi, ways to bounce, or otherwise deal with a Murktide Regent efficiently, we'll cut it. But we haven't seen anything really like that so far. And it's good against their like Batterskull GT plan. If they're just Stone Forging for value plays, playing a 8/8 dragon can mess them up. Alright, I'll keep this hand. We don't have double white yet. Oh, Library of Alexandria. That's pretty scary. It means they're trying to play a slow game against us. And I do think we're good in a slow game in general. But specifically if they're librarying, this might not work as well. Alright. Just going to play Island and pass. We have Counterspell available. Narset doesn't really shut down Library. It weakens it a little bit, but not that much. Definitely going to counter this. Alright, there's our second white source for the Wandering Emperor. Miscalculation or Mystical Tutor. I think I will take the Miscalc here. And then the hope is that they play around it next turn and we're able to land a Wandering Emperor. This is a pretty big turn. Because this is the last turn for a little bit that we're not going to have counter magic available. Elspeth Knight Errant. Fair enough. Let's minus this again, see what we hit. Some really good heavy hitters here. This is close. Here's the thing. If we did Council Judgment and just pass, it's kind of a giveaway that we have something. And they've seen the Wandering Emperor already. What we want is for them to just attack with a soldier, and then we can ambush it with the Wandering Emperor. So I'm actually going to take Gideon Jura, so they're like, oh, that's why they didn't play anything. They're saving up for Gideon next turn. It's close. Council Judgment is effective removal for the Elspeth, but I don't care that much about the Elspeth. Yeah, so this looks like it might work. They attack here. They could have Mana Tithe, but if we just get to make a 2-2, block this, kill it, and then have the Wandering Emperor going, we'll be in a great spot. Nice, that works. Make a 2-2 and block. Gideon is pretty bad against the Caracas. He won't be able to attack probably for the entire game, but just having him there doing the +2 and the -2 should be solid. And now the Narset is sneaky good against the library because if they want it to be active, they can't play anything, which is probably not going to be an option for them. They can't use the library now before they play anything, so they have to make a tough choice. Looks like they are going to go off the library plan. Oh, Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, that actually doesn't take them off the library. Do they get Jite or Batterskull? Jite. Alright, that's fine. I would like to Spell Pierce this here, but it's not essential. So here we're just going to swing for 2 with the Elspeth and make a second Knight or Samurai. Ooh, deal. Ancestral Recall. Hopefully we can find Time Walk. No Time Walk, but some really good stuff. Let's make another 2-2. Play land. Play this once. And then attack there. If they double block and I kill the Stoneforge, that's fine. Yep. So they can give their Elspeth +3 in flying, and then kill one of our planeswalkers, but that's totally fine. Our life total is still high. We just have tons of action. So Narset's gonna die. They do still have library going, but still, I think we're ahead here. All right, miscalculation. And I think I will just Fractured Identity to take their Elspeth. Ooh, That was an incredibly good draw. Land. Fractured Identity here. Make a 1/1. Give this an extra power. Play Time Walk. And now we can go make another 1/1. Give one of these guys +3/+3 in flying. We'll go land Gideon. And we're going to plus. Actually, I'm going to minus so they can't get GT counters. Okay, they just concede. So, and then we could even play Murktide Regent, which would be full power. It would be an 8/8 Murktide Regent, and then hold up Spell Pierce too. So, really, really good showing in the first match. We are 1-0. I'll see you in round 2. All right, we have our opponent for round 2. We win the die roll this time against Alan the Ogre 2, and we'll keep this hand a little bit light on lands, but Ponder can help us find them. Obviously, playing Triome on turn 1. Playing against green, that should be good for us. Just go land, go. Basic Island was a great draw there. Okay, I will remand this. Don't care too much about it, but just keeping the board clean for our Planeswalkers seems good. Do we dare play Wall of Omens here? I think I will actually play Wall of Omens and not hold up Miscalculation for 1 turn. We could get punished for this, of course, but there's not that many scary 3-drops they could have. They could play Channel, but if they just like play Porcelain Legionnaire again, that's obviously fine. Yeah, not a problem. Okay, now do we want to play the Karn? They could play Questing Beast here. Yeah, I think I'm going to hold off. We're just going to go land go for now. Play Wandering Emperor end of turn, and then on our turn we can go land Signet Karn. Mages of the Order. How much do we care about that? I don't think that much. They need... Oh, actually... Yeah, I think I'm still going to use the Wandering Emperor this turn. We could get punished for this if they play a cheap green creature that we can't miscalc, but I think advancing our board is pretty good, and we can ponder to look for more answers as well. So make a 2/2. Counterspell. Okay, that's great. So let's go land, Signet, make another 1/1 or 2/2, and then we'll pass with 2 counterspells available. The problem is that this does make every single green creature kind of a must counter. They could always be playing something like Progenitus. That would be really bad for us. Four mana Garruk. Okay. Little miscalculation. And then we can go ponder for land. Okay, we just draw the land, so we don't need to ponder for land. Do we want to... Well, actually, let's start by giving this +3/3 in first strike and swing. If they trade with the Porcelain Legionnaire, that's great. All right, they take that. We'll go Karn. And I think I will plus here. Making a 2/2 construct doesn't really matter that much. Ancestral Vision and a Mystical Tutor. They'll probably give us... they give us the Tutor. That's kind of surprising. But I'm happy about it. We can now grab Time Walk or Ancestral. Wow, the fact that we have Time Walk, Ancestral, and Fractured Identity is kind of awesome. Lodestone Golem. We could just let this resolve. It's not a green creature. Yeah, I think I'm just going to let this resolve. We have enough mana. I'm not too worried about that. We also have enough beefy creatures on the ground. Let's just grab a Time Walk here. All right, we'll plus the Karn again. Actually, no, I think now we can actually start getting a bit aggressive. So we'll minus the Karn. +1 here. Swing for 3. They kind of need to trade this time. Yep. Now we'll go Ponder first. This seems good enough. Yeah, we'll go Inspector, Elspeth, Signet, not Shuffle, play the Signet, then play Time Walk. Now we will make another construct. And let's see, do we want to animate the Colonnade here? If we animate Colonnade for 5 mana, we still have enough mana for Counterspell, so I think that seems fine. So we'll do 5, animate Colonnade. Give another counter to this guy. Okay, and they concede. Sweet. So we take down Mono Green in game 1. They didn't really do too much, so that was sweet. Murktide Regent's definitely a card we want here. They struggle a lot with flyers. Something like Geist would be terrible here. They have plenty of ground blockers. So the question is, what do we cut? The counter magic is all good. The removal is good. Wall of Omen and Thraben Inspector are both only okay. Could cut Karn. Could cut Narset. But Narset digging for a Wrath is good. I think I'll cut the Karn on the draw. Yeah, they'll have lots of ways to attack our Planeswalkers, and Karn is just like okay card draw for grindy matchups, but these matchups aren't really going to be about like a long grindy thing. It'll be, can we find the appropriate answers for their payoffs? And I think having the answers and then having more targeted card draw like Narset is better for that. Okay, this is a good hand. We have Fractured Identity, which is amazing in the matchup. Ooh. I'm actually not going to play that for a little bit. It's not going to impact that much our early plays either way. And I don't want to discard the hand size. Ooh, they're playing red. That's not expected. Just swing for 1. That's good for us. All right. Yeah, we'll just hold up. Miscalculation here. If they play something we could... yeah, we want to counter this for sure. Miscalculation. The next turn we can go... We could play Narset, but I think I like playing Signet and then holding up Spell Pierce plus Ancestral. The static ability of Narset's not that good, and we don't really need to draw more spells here. We want to draw lands. All right, we'll take 1 here. That's fine. And then they just pass. So looking good. We get to Ancestral. There's some lands. And now we can Wandering Emperor to immediately take out their blocker while holding up Spell Pierce still. Could also play Gideon. But I think I want to have the Spell Pierce available. So we have more mana. We still have 20 life. We have an active Planeswalker, a great hand, interactive spell available. I'm not going to say it's unlosable, but we're in a great position. That is why we left up Spell Pierce. All right, and they just concede. That makes sense. They were not going to win that game. We are absolutely cruising with Blue-White Super Friends. See you in the finals. All right, we have our opponent for the finals. We are on the play against Spaceman Spiffed, which is great. And we'll keep this hand. No white mana, but lots of mana and miscalculation. Just a solid hand all around. Plus, we have a friendly opponent. Island Go. The scariest start in Vintage Cube. Oh, they skipped through their first turn accidentally. Not an ideal start to the finals, but it is what it is. Ancestral Vision. That's a good draw. I think we just do that this turn. I was planning on playing Signet, but Ancestral is the kind of card you want to get going as soon as possible because it does take a while to finally resolve. Next turn we can play Signet and hold up Mana or Miscalculation. Zagoth Triumph, okay. Memory Deluge is a pretty good draw there, but we do need to find some lands. We can main phase Memory Deluge next turn if we need to, but that's not ideal. No play, sure. Let's draw the land. Rough. Still a good spot, though. We can just pass, hold up Memory Deluge, or double Counterspell. I really want them to not play something here. We're clearly telegraphing Counterspell, and they might want to play around it, but in a situation, I don't want to have to use it. Spaceman Spiffed is deep in thought over there. For good reason. This is a pretty important juncture. Spellseekers are fine. The 1/1 body is not relevant, and we can counter the other spell if we care about it. So we can take advantage of this opportunity to resolve the Deluge. 2 turns away from this. We really just want lands. I don't think there's... I guess I would take like Time Walk over land, but most things are worse than a land here. Mystical Tutor. That is quite weak. We'll play the Deluge. Take land. Untap. Now we're going to go Everflowing Chalice for 2. Still holding up a Counterspell. Cast the multi-kicker, X equals 2. Now we have a solid mana advantage and also a very good hand. Even if the Ancestral Vision wasn't coming off next turn, I would think we're favored. And then we're going to just draw 4 cards next turn, so feeling good. All right. Wow, that really just resolves. Okay. I mean, yeah, this is just a phenomenal position. We have a ton of cards in hand. Do we want to just jam Elspeth? I think so. Yeah, I'll jam the Elspeth here. It's pretty likely to get countered, but I don't want to discard the hand size, and we can just, if they counter this, then we can still hold up counter magic for their turn. Venser. Okay, I will miscalculation this. We'll see what they can do here. The shields are down, so they could hit us hard with something. They could maybe Mind Twist us, but if we have Elspeth in play, even if they take out our hand, it's going to be tougher. Oh, they have Force of Will. All right. This could get a little dicey, maybe. Force of Will pitching the Mystical Tutor that they searched up. We still get the Elspeth in our hand, but we don't get it to resolve this turn. So really, it's just Mind Twist or bust here. I guess if they have Time Twister also. Any way to radically shift the fact that we have 7 cards and they have 4. But if they even if they play a Planeswalker, I don't really care. Certainly if they pass, we're in great shape. They could develop their mana, and I wouldn't care. Ashiok could be a problem, but still probably not, because Elspeth can win quickly. What you got, opponent? How are you going to radically shape this game? You're not going to do anything. That's not going to go well for you. So we'll play 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can play land, Elspeth, and then hold up double counterspell. Seems pretty unlosable. Frantic Search. I think I actually will just Spell Pierce this here. They could be playing Reanimator, in which case we definitely don't want to let them put stuff into the graveyard. And, yeah, I mean, I guess that's the main reason. They also could just have some dead cards in their hand, but now we have our Planeswalker. We still have a counterspell available. And if they somehow take out our entire hand through our Mana Leak and kill our Elspeth, we have Memory Deluge in the graveyard, so hard to be too concerned here. At this point, I just want to see more of their deck, so I know what to play around for the rest of the match. Vampiric Tutor, that's fine. Alright, what's the big payoff that you Vampiric Tutored for? Seagate Stormcaller. Okay, that's actually not bad. They can get Time Walk, and they'll get to copy one of it. We can remand the copy. Oh no, you don't want to do it here, opponent. Please don't do it here. That would be hilarious if they cast their thing in response to this trigger. They need to let this trigger resolve, and then their spell will get doubled. So it's Time Walk, yep. So we're going to remand the copy. Obviously, it does not go back to their hand. We get to draw a card, and then they only get 1 extra turn. So we'll see what they can do with this turn. They should attack here. It's not profitable, but they're going to need to attack next turn. And if they don't attack here, they're not going to be able to deal any damage next turn. Yep. Good attack. I know it doesn't feel good for the opponent, but I think that is correct here. So now the way they get back into this is like hit Elspeth for 2, then play like Snap, Time Walk, then kill Elspeth, and Mind Twist our hand. And then we're only a little bit ahead. Alright, they just passed, so I think the game, which was already over, is even more over now somehow. Let's play Wall of Omens, and then pass holding up 7 mana. Wow. Deal. they're really just passing again. I have no idea what they're holding here. I mean, yeah, well, I guess they're playing something now. We'll see how scary it is. The thing is, most scary things we could just fractured identity. So, yeah, we're not that close to actually killing them because they hit Elspeth. So, she's not close to ultimate, but still. Treasure Cruise. I think that's worth a mana leak here. We're the only one that's allowed to draw a lot of cards. Alright, untap. Let's start with a Ponder. Don't want those. There we go. Do want that. So that's to recall. Looking for Time Walk. No Time Walk there, but still feeling pretty good. Well, plus we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. So I'm not going to play the Signet. I'll just hold up. Memory Deluge plus Counterspell. And I actually will be pretty judicious with this Counterspell. I'm not going to play it unless it's something that either draws multiple cards or very significantly impacts the game. I want to save it for something weird like an Upheaval. Okay. We can Narset for Time Walk. And yeah, Narset plus Mystical Tutor seems good here. So let's go end of turn. Tutor for Time Walk. Untap. There's the GG. Sweet. Oh, wait. For some reason, I thought that was game 2. Okay. Game 1. We beat blue-black mid-range. They're playing a lot of good blue cards, but I think we just have basically a similar but better version of it. Do we want to make any changes? I think I like having access to one board sweeper still. We could bring in Geist. It's kind of interesting. It's bad against their Seagate Stormcaller, though. Probably on the draw, we just play the main deck. And then if they win game 2, we can go a little bit more proactive in game 3 with, like, History of Benalia plus Geist. That seems fine. I don't think Hullbreaker Horror is that good. It's bad against Venser. And Murktide Region is very bad against Venser. So, yeah, let's just run it like this. Alright, great hand. We don't have counter magic, but we can accelerate into a 4-drop on turn 3. We can ponder on turn 1 if we're worried about having counter magic early. Mountain go. Alright. I think I will ponder here. I do want to find some counter magic. These are kind of bad. They're all, like, fine. But I think we can do better, so I will shuffle. Oof. Drawing planes there is not what we wanted. Do they have a turn 2 play? With this hand, we definitely want to be playing Draco. We have 2 excellent instant speed threats, or instant speed cards that are must answer. So, yeah, like we want to play Signet this turn, but then have it just be a slow, chill game where we can both pass. Alright, Signet resolves. They could have Dak Faden to steal it, which would be a little sad. Actually, that would be pretty bad. That would be bad. Don't have it, please. No Dak Faden. This is a key turn. 2 mana. Time Walk. Okay, that's not ideal, but as far as Time Walks go, could be a lot worse. We'll see what they do here, though. If they slam Jace the Mind Sculptor, things could get a little hairy. Seething Song. Okay. Bolt me, and are they just gonna play Time Twister? I guess so. That's annoying. Oh, yeah, Wheel of Fortune, same thing. We discarded a bunch of very good cards there, so that's bad for us. And the backup hand that we drew is pretty trash as well. So, pretty rough swing of events. Good to know about the Wheel of Fortune. And that makes things like Geist a lot better, things that play to the board. Wow, they have Time Walk plus Mox Sapphire. If they have Brain Freeze here, we die. It's hard to tell if they're storming, but it kind of looks like they are. Their game one did not look like a storm deck, but this kind of does. Or this definitely does. They discard 2 lands and untap 3 lands. Now, we die to Brain Freeze. Not literally, but we'll die. Like, we can't win that quickly. If they have Brain Freeze, I will concede so they don't see my deck. Okay, Seagate Stormcaller, sure. Don't be Brain Freeze. Brain Freeze. Okay. Well, you got me with the turn 4 kill. Not what I was expecting there. But they did get us. So let's bring in Murktide and Geist to pressure their life total. Let's bring out a Board Sweeper and Council's Judgment. We don't really need removal. Both of these are also kind of bad. Could bring in History of Benalia for more quick pressure. Maybe that's better than Wall of Omens. Yeah, I think so. All right. Oh, and then we want to bring in another land to make sure we don't have to mulligan. Or make it less likely we have to mulligan. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut Karn. Actually, Gideon or Karn? We'll cut Gideon for 1 more land. I think we want to make sure we have blue mana for all our counter magic, so we'll submit like that. Good to know they're storming. I was not sure about that for before that game. All right, we'll keep this hand pretty good. Murktide Region in the opener is not ideal, but still solid. We're going to play this first and pass. And then Mystical Tutor, unclear if we want to get Time Walk or Ancestral. I'm leaning towards Ancestral, but we'll see how the game develops. Okay, I think I'm going to get the Everflowing Chalice down here. We could get burned here, but I think it's pretty unlikely. It's like, yeah, I think it's pretty unlikely that Wheel of Fortune this turn. Okay, there's a Mox. Another Mox. Oh, come on. They really got 2 Moxen and a Time Walk. Alright, so we're going to untap, just take a draw step naturally. Narset's a very good draw, but we're still going to pass for now. And then I might actually cycle Miscalc in a turn if they don't do anything. Venser. Okay, I think I will miscalculation this. There's an argument for Remand as well, but Remand is good in the blue mirrors. Based on that pause, I think they have Force of Will. Okay, if we had more blue mana, I would go for Time Walk, and we could go Narset Time Walk, but we don't have enough blue for that. Okay, Glenn. Definitely need to remand this. They could have Force of Will and a blue card as 2 of their last cards, but then they're down to 1 card, and we could probably win with Murktide. Okay, Mana Leak is a good draw. So let's just take a natural draw because we want to hit a land. Nice. Narset and hold up Mana Leak. And this shuts down a lot of their scariest cards. If they go for the Force of Will, I think I will Mana Leak back, although it's close. Okay, they pitch Frantic Search, so they're holding Glen. I think it's fine to leak this. And they're just holding Glen and one unknown. It's pretty bad. So we'll minus Narset. See what we hit. Okay, Time Walk, pretty good. They're going to be able to counter this with Glen, but we can just go Time Walk, they counter it, and then Murktide, and we're in a pretty good spot. There's the Glen, yep. Take our draw step. History of Benalia, that's kind of funny. See, if we play the Time Walk, there will be 4 cards in the graveyard. Murktide will cost 3, that's perfect. So we'll minus here. Karn, that's pretty bad, but it's fine. Attempt the Time Walk unsuccessfully. And we'll play Murktide. Such a clean 7/7 here. Really quick clock. Blocks the Glen. They only have 1 card. So they need a lot to happen here to win. I guess they need to go like bounce your Murktide and then play Wheel of Fortune. And they don't even have red mana. Plus, excuse me. Plus we have 26 cards in our library, so they're not really... Like, they can't really get us with a small Brain Freeze for the win. We can consider going for a Mystical Tutor here. I don't think it's worth it, though. Spellseeker for Time Walk. Okay, that's pretty good, actually. That does let them kill our Narset if they want to. They can play Time Walk, then swing next turn. We kill the Glen, but their Spellseeker will kill our Narset. And then if they have a draw 7, they can get back into it. We do still have a 7/7 on board, so that's good. But losing the Narset would hurt. If they lose their Glen, then we'll Mystical Tutor for Counterspell. Yep, they get the Time Walk. No surprise there. They only have 1 card, though. I guess it's not unlikely that it's Wheel of Fortune. So they do make this attack. We'll kill the Glen. And then they can go... If they top decked a red source, they can go land Wheel. Okay, they just passed, so... I don't think we can lose if we get Counterspell. It's tempting to get Ancestral Recall, but I think that's just unnecessarily greedy when we already have such a quick clock. Also not going to play the History of Benalia. Just hit for 7 and pass. And they need to kill us in 2 turns. Hit us for 1. Don't care about that. They only have 2 cards. I think we're going to play History of Benalia next turn. That's an Oracle. That's fine. Again, we'll be very judicious about this Counterspell and save it for only cards that are an imminent threat to win the game. They did put a card on top of their library, though, so they found something they like. Oh, they just say GG, though. All right, there we go. We got stormed out in a pretty savage way in Game 2, but we got the trophy. That feels good, and that's trophy number 20 breaking us into the top 5, and that's also 2 in a row. Feels pretty good. This was our blue-eye control deck, and it was incredible. We didn't have either Teferi, so that hurts the soul, but we had, I can't really complain. We had Ancestral Recall and Time Walk and Fractured Identity, which are all 3 top 10 cards in the format. We had an excellent suite of Planeswalkers that control the board and draw cards. We had amazing counter magic with 4 2-mana counters, 1 Spell Pierce, and then also Mystical Tutor to find them. And we had a bunch of Artifact mana too, with 3 rocks that let us develop a quick mana advantage. All around a really, really good deck. The only thing we were lacking was spot removal for creatures. Our only ways to kill things were Council Judgment, Dam, and Fractured Identity, and none of those cost less than 3. So that could have been a sketchy thing if we played against one of the aggressive decks, mono red, mono white, or potentially even mono green. The board sweeper is good against them, but not having any dismembers or ousts or swords to plowshares does hurt. Still though, really sweet league. Not only was the main deck good, but we got to have some Murktide action in the final game, which actually could have changed the game. It really sped up the clock. Really fun league in my favorite color combination. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.